we've both been reasonably successful, you especially, over the last couple of years. I have 2 years ago that I became pretty serious with social media. And my Instagram was at 80K. Now it's at 265 or something.
That's a big deal.
YouTube, I was basically not on. I had a channel for like exercise videos, but probably by the time this gets released, I should be at the 100K mark, which should be cool. I get my silver trophy.
Yes, a big deal.
Yeah.
You just almost no channels on YouTube. If you take all YouTube channels, almost no channels break 100K.
Yeah.
I think people like have the Mr. Beast standard where they're like, I don't have 50 million subs, I ain't shit. It's like, you guys, you're winning at anything over a K subscribers. So it's like, you're a YouTuber now. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And you took it to the next level. You got like the last time I was here, we celebrated 1 million on YouTube, and now you're over 3 million, which is a crazy exponential growth. What did you learn along the way? We both have a lot of like influencers and people that want to grow their social media on our subscribers. What would you recommend them first and foremost to do if they want to grow their social media?
Excellent question. Thank you for the compliments. Scott the Video Guy, really. Get yourself a Scott the Video Guy. Although I will say that it actually is one of my points. We could talk about it as long as you like.
You think, at what point do you think people should get external help for the editing and everything? Until what point can they just do it themselves with CapCut on TikTok or whatever?
If you have so much content to make, so many scripts to write, so many outlines to make, so many ideas to talk about, that it really encumbers you to have to do editing, and you would be able to really unlock a lot more productive work. You have to consider like, okay, I can use some editing help now. Now, within a year or two, AI agents will be able to edit tons of your content, but it depends on your scale. Like right now, we're sitting in our RP studio and we have a triple cam setup that's, because Scott's not here, it's not on, it's just you and your camera. But, at some point, if your YouTube gets big enough or social media is big enough, like a whole team, like we have a team. YouTube is a team at RP. I think we have like 6 people in the team, just the YouTube team, and they all have incredible functions. Scott used to edit all the videos. He hardly edits at all anymore. We have a team of editors. All they do is editing, but we produce a lot of videos and they're quite lengthy. So I would say as soon as you're able to afford an editor and it makes sense financially and it can allow you to put out one of 2 things, then it's worth it. Here's the one of 2 things. More videos, higher quality videos. High quality doesn't just mean like, 4K. It means production quality, organizational quality, learning quality. Because like I used to make a fuckload of YouTube scripts because I was just sitting down and sharing my ideas. Now I make the scripts a little bit more organized. Not that I don't hardly ever read off cards, but the topics are well more nuanced and thought through because I have more time to sit and think about it because I don't have to be involved with YouTube stuff because Scott and his division take care of all that stuff. So that's a big deal. But
Audio quality in particular.
Audio quality,
really notice that.
Huge one.
Like video quality, nice studio and all that stuff. That's nice, but it won't make or break your channel. But shitty audio can make really good content still be pretty shitty. Like it's just hard to listen to.
Yes, and let's say something very clearly that folks might be suspecting. The red team against that is that like good content is good content. Like I listen to a lot of like economist Brian Kaplan's lectures, like, as many of them as I can find on YouTube. And a lot of times there's like a dog shit Zoom setup and I can barely hear him. But because I can hear what words he's saying, everything is fucking gold that comes out of that man's mouth. And I'm like, who gives a shit if it's high production quality? But the thing is, if your question is, and the purpose of this video is you want to be more relevant on social media, you want a bigger following, there's a 100% thing where people can't tell if you're legit, and they use all kinds of heuristics to estimate if you're legit.
Yep.
And also the ASMR pleasantries of consuming your content, you want to lower the barriers as much as possible. Like, imagine like, someone's like, oh, hey, I got a girl for you. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna date a girl, where's a picture? And they show a picture and it's like literally someone with like octopus tentacles out their face. What the fuck? And they go, no, right before the date, she'll turn completely into a woman and after she'll turn into an octopus again. You'll never have to see it. You're like, could you just show me a picture of her pretty face? Like why? Like, some people just will say no, even though it's true to say that during the date, it's totally fine. So if you tell me like, you're going to have to sit through dog shit audio, you don't know if this person's an expert, but it looks like they're not because experts typically have esteem associated with them. And the people who interview them like want to put them in a nice room and ask them questions. High audio quality is pleasant for you, for your audience. And it connotes a level of seriousness that you're really trying. 2 people with just a Zoom setup could be onto some wisdom, and there often are. But to the average person, are you guys really trying here? And if you're not really trying, how much are you trying to think through your ideas and how much can I trust you? So high audio quality is a big deal for that reason. And just high quality in general. Like talking to a person face to face is the best quality interaction you can have on metrics. The closer your YouTube gets to that, the better. And that actually can siphon into my next point, which is, and you and I have talked about this before privately, asking the question of how do I expand my social media is asking kind of a second order question when you could be asking the first order question. Expanding, it's asking like a race car driver, like asks, how do I win more races? So you go faster than everybody else. That's actually the only way to win races. And then you're like, oh, I get it. Like car power, my ability to control the vehicle, my ability to communicate with my team. These are all things that make me faster on the track. That's right. But are you sure they're going to result in more victories? Like, but how could they not? Like victories measured only on lap time. That's actually it. Like total lap time, whoever hits the total lap time that's the lowest wins the race. Like, they literally mathematically can't work out any other way. Outside of really perverse scenarios, shut the fuck up about them in the comments. I'm kidding. Like technically speaking, if you pit blah, blah, et cetera, right? So when you're producing content, and this is an interesting thing, it kind of belies some people's illusory thinking about this. I say like, what are your tips for making content? And I sometimes facetiously say as a joke, I don't make content. I try to teach people about exercise and other philosophy bullshit on the other channel, but let's just stick to the exercise stuff. Try to teach people about diet and training, how they can do it better and understand the concepts in a way that's like maybe somewhat easy to understand and like a little bit entertaining so that I'm bored to tears. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't make content. I do that. And then so how do I get better at doing that? And so the answer to the question of like, how do I get better at content is, what is the purpose of your channel? What are you putting out? What is your mission statement? Like you're in roughly the same place with your fitness channel. You're trying to inform well-meaning people who have a bit of a patience for complexity about various myths and illusions they might be subscribed to and about various physiological principles and news in the field. That's your purpose. You should ask, how do I do that better? It's not, and then the followers come. But like, if you just ask, how do I get followers? Like people don't randomly walk into their followers. So basically point 2 was like, just get better at the craft of teaching people or delivering your message to people.
Provide value.
Provide value. So if I'm a TikToker that like does little dances, you know what's going to get me more popular? How good my dances are. Or how good I look, or how unique I look. It's not like you look at this one girl and you're like, well, I can dance better than her. Why is she popular? And you're like, can you really dance better than her? And everyone's like, you're good, but you're not that good. So get better at your craft. That's a huge one. And a lot of that just comes from practice and really thinking deeply about what is it that I want to deliver to people. And if I was watching me, how would I want me to do better? You can coach yourself quite a bit. Like, I don't even like this. I'll occasionally watch some of my own videos, and some of the stuff that comes off like rude or curt, or I know what I'm saying, but I know people fucking no idea because I never couched any of the ideas that I entered into. I'm like, I gotta do less of that shit and do more patient explanation or whatever it is. Or my patient explanation excessively long, past the point of like the ASMR value of my voice, that do just get to the fucking point. So I'll learn that and go next time. Like a lot of times you're a good judge of what you do anyway. And so sometimes people say, yes, okay, I hear you, like raw value prop, talent, ability to teach, ability to entertain, that's good. And I'll improve that. And then of course the views will come. But like you see, like Mike, Menno, like it does seem like some people are just famous for being themselves. What are they doing? So point 1 is, make sure that you're professionally putting out as much editing quality as possible, the metrics. Point 2 is value. Right. Value in the video. Point 3 is genuineness in the organic presentation. Authenticity. There's a new word for that. Because many people, I would say most people, have pretty damn finely attuned sensors to authenticity. And so do you. Mm-hmm. You listening to this, you have damn good ones. And lying to you is real tough. I've gotten some weird feedback over the course of what I considered weird feedback at first, but now makes sense over the course of my YouTube rise or whatever. I meet a lot of people in real life because at this point, people recognize me in the street occasionally. And I get it
all the time.
I guess all the time. Okay, can you imagine me saying that though? Like all the fuck time, brother. I usually fucking pull my Lambo up and there's just bitches. No bitches, almost all dudes. But in any case, also literally true. I get a lot of feedback of like, because I love to talk to people in real life. So if you ever meet me in real life and I'm not like running to catch my plane, I 100% bullshit with you. And I get a ton of feedback of like, dude, you're like exactly the same person in real life. And my initial thought was like, I didn't know it was supposed to be acting someone else on YouTube. And they're like, dude, a lot of people do that. And I'm like, oh my God, because first of all, that's really difficult to do. You're just making your job harder because it's like, well, you Tom Cruise or some shit? Like, that's tough. Now, you can lean into various aspects of your personality, but they're all genuine aspects of your personality. Trying to do something totally fake and trying to be someone else, real tough. And like, if it was worth it, hey, fucking do it. Act away, you know? But it's often not because people are so good at telling. And when you're super genuine, people, especially in today's world, social media is a big deal because it's so, you get trolled, you get shit talked. It's embarrassing to be your real self. You want to be the best version of your real self. You never want to be wrong. And it's so difficult to come out and be your real self. But the people who manage to do it organically, a lot of times are recognized if they have talent, they shoot up to the sky. The Trend Twins, Sam Sulek, like they're like real human beings. A lean beef patty. Oh my God. I told the story on another podcast before, but like before Scott the video guy, and I met Lean Beef Patty, we were like, what the fuck is like, Luke, she's hot or whatever, but like there's like bikini champions that are like flawless angels and she's, you know, looks great, but like, well, why her when they're like 2 orders of magnitude less popular than her? Then we met her, we collabed with her, and that video's on our NRP Strength channel. We chatted with her. She's just a fucking real ass bitch. She's so fucking down to earth. And so there's just no facade. And I'm like, oh, no shit. Of course, that's why she's amazing. And so anytime you think like, oh, I shouldn't reveal the real me or whatever, like at least on the margins, lean more into the real you. Mm-hmm. And then people, they'll sniff that out. They'll pick that up. And if you have value and it's kind of the real you and your video and audio production is good, you're going to get way better response than if you tune all those variables. Can you imagine just 2 different scenarios real quick and I'll shut up. Shit production. It's not clear even why you're speaking into a camera or what value you have to add. Because, you know, you can talk to some fitness influencers, you like watch 10 minutes of their video and you're like, I don't think I learned anything at all. And then they're reading off a script card so obviously, but you can read off a script because you wrote the script or some assistant wrote it for you. You're really passionate about it and delivery is genuine. It's still awesome. They don't even care about the subject. They're just out there doing it for views because they thought they're supposed to be. And so their genuineness is super low.
Relatability is huge. I remember that I didn't understand that. And I'm actually like this, like my relatability, I'm very just direct, no nonsense type person.
That's relatability.
Yeah. So it's not what I'm going to win the points on. I have to go on education. And that's basically what you can provide. You can provide value and it's going to be, broadly speaking, it's going to be entertainment or it's going to be education. And if you can blend the two like you do, then you have a really good recipe for success. But relatability is something that I underestimated. I remember for my PT course, when we got initial reviews coming in and they were positive and we had a lot of doctors and professionals and they said nice things. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. We have the doctor, we have another doctor, professional athlete, high-level personal trainer that everybody knows. Okay, so we get those testimonials on the website. And then my marketeer was like, how about not? We take those away and we just put like average individuals like
Janice, 42.
Exactly. And we put those on, actually converted better. And I was like, why?
But who are you selling to?
Exactly.
You don't sell a doctor.
People want to know from people that are like them. And also people want to follow the lives for like Lean Beef Patty or some of the other like Sam Sulek. People want to follow the lives of people who they feel like they could be or they really know that person. And
well, they're human people.
Exactly.
They're like, I'm not like you, but you're a human person.
Yeah. And sometimes that's even more interesting than, especially now, because we had the Instagram era where everybody put up like they're the completely, the best, not even the best, just a completely idealized fictional version of themselves. You know, that if you go on holiday 6 times per year and then your whole feed is holiday photos and actually the remaining 340 days per year, your life is something completely different. Your feed does not reflect your life at all. So I think the relatability aspect is really underrated, and authenticity has always been important, but now it's more important than ever because people are so sick of all the fakeness that they see in ads, that they get from corporations, these days that you even get from the media.
AI
Yes.
is here.
Yeah.
AI influencers will be prettier than you. They'll be smarter than you. They'll be taller than you. They'll be cooler than you. They'll have cooler clothes. They'll be in cooler cars because all of it's literally fake. And a real person is the ultimate antidote to that. And there's an easy prediction. They're not giving AI verified accounts. It's not in the cards. So when you get verified, blue check or whatever the fuck it is for whatever platform, you're a real human. It's really a big deal. And so if you think you can beat people on fakeness, AI has already beat you to the punch.
And there's research on this already that people really dislike AI, they dislike algorithms, they have a strong preference for humans. We were talking earlier about how people even prefer when they have the option of getting the opinion of a doctor versus the opinion of an algorithm or an AI, even when there are shown data that the AI or the algorithm in this specific case is substantially better than a doctor because there are just more variables to consider. A doctor cannot do the statistics in their head. The diagnosis is objectively more likely to be accurate. People still significantly prefer the doctor.
Yeah.
So there's this anti-fakeness bias or anti-synthetic bias. We also have the natural foods, all these areas. That's kind of waiting, but still, people have this strong preference for things that are real, authentic, natural, human.
Yes. Another one is very related to that point is honesty. Obviously, don't fucking lie to people, but also like if you endorse a product, if you recommend something, don't say it's the most incredible thing ever. Dude,
Unless you believe it.
Unless you believe it, and then it strains credulity. You have to put in some context there for people, some caveats. So I'll say, like, we have the RP Diet Coach, RP Hypertrophy apps. They're kind of my life's work. So I could totally I use both of them all the time. I think they're great. Am I going to tell you that they're the best possible app? No. Does everyone even need an app for fitness? No. If you want to pay us money, it's a sweet product. If you use it well, it's going to work. Hell yeah. But if you are in that space, you just want to learn some ideas and do things yourself, of course that's real. Now, when I say that to people, just as how I'm being perceived, I'm instantly, by a large fraction of people, being perceived as significantly more honest and open. Why? Because I am. Why the fuck would I say dumb shit like this if I was like a slick marketing guy? Dude, I've been in some situations where we'll like represent a company and I'm like, this is what I'm going to say about your product. And they're like, do you have to say that there's other products that also work that people can buy? I'm like, no, but it's true. And they're like, can you just not say that? I'm like, no, because it's true. And I'm going to tell people the truth. If you guys want me to be another pretty face marketer person who lies to people, I already disqualified myself on not having a pretty face. That's down the drain. What else I got? Realness, genuineness, honesty. To the point where like, yeah, like this is an option. Let's talk about ways you can use it. Let's talk about ways it might not be for you. No, you tell that to a lot of people, you're going to be like, oh, this guy's not even convinced in his own product. They'll fuck off. You don't need those people buying your shit. They wouldn't buy your shit anyway. But to people like, damn, yo, I like this person. This is a real human. And this is a pretty good product. He also says it's not perfect, which I already knew because no products are perfect. I'm going to try this shit. They try it. It works for them. They'll convert 10 other people the next day for you. But if you think you can scuzz and scam people, that road has an end.
Snoop Dogg actually already summarized all of these things that we're saying way better at some point. He was like, if you ain't gonna be you, who gonna be you but you?
Word up. But like, might as well lean into what you have. And people are looking for organic humans. So it looks like it's easier for you. You don't even have to make it.
How do you know what you have? Because of course, basic marketing principles, you make content for certain people and you fit your product to your niche and you lean on your specialties and your expertise. But how do you find out what is it that you have to offer? Because everyone's different. Some people draw photos, some people are very pretty. How do you find that out?
Oh, it's a 2-part process. Maybe 3-part. One is like when you're younger, you just kind of organically seem you're drawn to certain things. So like it's good to pay attention to what you kind of seem to like. People like love computers, love data, love numbers, love math, love working with machines in quiet spaces, deep work for hours at a time. But because their parents were doctors and they were kind of expected to become a doctor, they're like, I'm going to be applying to med school soon. Like, what the hell are you doing? Do you like medicine? And a lot of people like, there's parts of it are cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I pause. Do you like to work with sick people? They're like, no. Like, you do know that's what doctors do. I know people who have dropped out of physical therapy school because they realized like helping frail people after car accidents is not what they wanted. I know other people that have enrolled in physical therapy school and had careers that are incredibly fulfilling because they love helping frail people who have just recovered from car accidents. But I know people who are ultimately interested in peak elite sport performance and physique that are like trying to go to PT school. Like, my dear friend, what are you doing? So you got to be in touch with the shit you like and lean into that. Passion's a big deal. You might like a lot of stuff though. And so the second component is to invest very heavily over minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades into becoming better at what you do. People tell me nowadays is very nice, like, oh, dude, like, how do you speak so fluidly and in a relaxed way on podcasts? The first time I taught a class as a professor, I swear to God, I was shitting my pants the entire time. I was like 23, and there were like 21-year-old girls as my students looking up at me for the first time. And I was like a chubby, fucking irrelevant asshole. Oh my God, I was so nervous. Oh my God, they would have been like, how was that teacher? They're like, he makes a lot of really awkward jokes and he seems like he just wants to run away. Like, that's how it felt. It felt like that for years. And then I kept doing it and I got better. And I looked into like, various strategies of public speaking and discourse and picked up some tips, but really just practice. And like, how do you know so much about exercise science, Menno? Because you've read like an inordinate amount about it and thought about it an inordinate amount. So work on your craft. Whatever it is you want to do better, you had better be investing a lot of time into it. Special people are made. They're not born. They're more talented. They're made special by investing the entire time. The third thing I would say is, of all the things that you're doing, that you're interested in, and you take that class of phenomenon and you go one level up, smaller class of things you're actively investing your time into getting better at and doing, then you're going to have a smaller class of things that you're very good at. But you don't want to just stick to that 100%. You want to keep some variation and play on the margins at least with some different stuff. So let's say your thing is strength training. That's your passion. You're going to teach people about strength training. Try a video or two about like the basics of putting on muscle so that you can get stronger. It turns out like most of your videos do 8K after a week of views. The hypertrophy one did 16K. You're like, maybe that was a fluke. Try it again. Try it again later. How to get shredded and build muscle for your next strength phase. 19K. You're like, okay. Do I want to be less popular and be a strength person, or more popular and be a bit more of a hypertrophy person? There's no right or wrong answer. And also you can just fluidly increase how much hypertrophy content you put out and maybe decrease the strength, but increase the strength, decrease hypertrophy, try combinations, try other things that are a little bit like nutrition, try nutrition. And for you and I, because this is for the new channel, right? Excellent. You and I made entirely new channels on stuff that we also like. And like now we're talking about that. You have a very good plan for your new channel. When I started my new channel, I was like, I just need to talk to people about ideas in the world that I think aren't being phrased very well. I need to explain this to people because there's a lot of correct answers that aren't mysterious and more correct answers that just no one I've ever seen is phrasing all of them like I want them phrased. At the very least, I just need to talk to a camera for a while. But as I started doing that, we talk about AI a little bit, we talk about philosophy a little bit, we talk about personal improvement a little bit, relationships, and we see how those videos do. And what I'm passionate about, we kind of mix and match. So keeping that diversity going means you'll evolve over time and kind of go with flows and find a content that suits best for you. I didn't plan to be the hypertrophy guy. It's just funny. I just went on the Dave Tate podcast that'll be on in a while. We did like 2 hours on basic theory of sport periodization and strength and conditioning periodization. He's like, this is basically the first time you'll ever talk about this on a podcast in your modern era. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, this is what you went to school for. I'm like, yes. He's like, are you passionate about this? I'm like, I think deeply about this shit all the time. I'm a jiu-jitsu athlete and I coach jiu-jitsu athletes and I'm going to be writing a book about combat sport theory. But like, nobody knows me like that. Well, it's okay to lean into that and see if it has any merit, because like, like sometimes it won't. And then it's just a passion project. That's okay. It'll do some good. And then sometimes it'll be like the next thing you didn't even know about.
Yeah, there's basically, I think, 2 ways to come at what works best for you. The first way is to see what works best, simply empirically. And the best way to find that out, actually, is not to do some research or to talk to gurus. It's what you said, to post a lot of content and see what does best, because almost all top content creators tell me it's very hard to predict. I remember your exercise scientist critiques, which made your channel absolutely explode. And you were like, I don't know, does this fit our channel?
It's your random idea I had.
Exactly. So sometimes these random ideas are actually the thing that propels everything forward enormously. And then we have some of the other ideas where we're like, oh, this will crush. And it's like, no, people don't really care.
Had a lot of those.
Yes, me too. Usually they're too niche or too nerdy. And it's like, yeah, this was great for maybe 5,000 people, but 90% of people were like, this is a bit too detailed and complex for me.
Yeah. One quick thing is like, how do you assess if something is working? Do you look at likes to dislikes?
Yes.
Do you look at views, or do you look at comments? And I would say you look at comments for something specific, but you should not look at comments for a general vibe of people like it or not. You cannot get general vibe from comments. It's insanely self-selected by a group of people. Most people don't comment. Average comments will be either not irrationally, exceptionally exuberant people that are very social, and also incredibly pessimistic people who masturbate a lot, do nothing else, and just mean people on the internet. You don't want to start pleasing them because they can't be pleased. They're not there. They're not trying to be pleased. And so what you want from comments is, if you read comments, you want ones that have given some thought to what's going on and give you deep qualitative advice. You're like, I love what you said about XYZ, but what I really love to know more about is explain blah, blah, blah. Oh, damn, there's some fucking good feedback. But if someone's like, yeah, man, this sucks, like cope, or like, you should lean into more XYZ, you're just like, shut up. You just like and dislike. You don't have to like and dislike because there's a fucking arrow for that. You don't have to comment about it. Likes and dislikes tell you something, but also some little bit of controversy is sometimes good, so don't tell you much. Nothing beats watch time. I didn't say views. Views are great, way better than likes. So it's a comments are the lowest, likes better, views way better, watch time is superior. Watch time tells me that if I put out a kind of video and it gets enormous watch times total over weeks or whatever.
It doesn't matter in the end what they say or what they like, as long as they watched it, that
they're watching it. And usually, almost always, people do not watch a lot of videos that they hate. Now, you can get some people reacting to thumbnails and titles that are bombastic, and what you'll see is like your dislike ratio goes up, like the number of dislikes goes up, the number of comments goes up, the negative comments go up. Ooh, I shouldn't lean into this. But do those people watch the video full length? If your watch time isn't that great, but you're also pissing a lot of people off, you can even have lots of views, but the views are like they click in for 30 seconds, realize you're a lying asshole who clickbaits everything, and then tune out. Careful. But if you look at watch time, like people typically don't, like if I disagree with, like if I like click on a news clip, CNN, and it's total clickbait, I'm out in 10 seconds. They ain't getting my watch time. And not for like some kind of, I'm not going to demonstrate to the algorithm. I just don't have time to listen to idiots ramble about nonsense. And so what am I listening to a lot? Like the stuff I like. And so if your watch time's high, that means whatever user base you got to, they like it a lot. Watch time is a really, really big deal. Not because you're trying to get people to watch as much as possible. Eyeballs or ad spaces, which is a thing with money. Like, how do you know? Like, if you're with a girl and you're doing something sexual to her, and you're like, okay, and she's like, don't you fucking stop. You keep touching me like you were. Like, clearly she likes it. She wants more time of you doing it. If she says, hey, that was great, she could just be nice to you. Or if she's like, that wasn't cool, she could just be mean. You know what I mean? If you hook up with a lot of girls, but maybe you're really good looking, but you're actually suck in bed, so your view count is high, but your watch time. If a girl comes out, like you have a roommate, and you're like, I don't know if Jim is good at sex. And like you see a girl come out of his room, and it's been 4 hours, and she's like covered in sweat, she's drinking an orange juice, she's like, that Jim is a fucking miracle worker. Or she says nothing, no comments. She's like, oh, and you're like, you going? She said, oh, I'm not going. And she goes back in, and 3 hours later, like, something in there she likes. That's what watch time is.
Yeah. Watch time is probably the best metric overall. Likes and stuff are more ancillary metrics for sure.
Yes.
And comment sections have very well established negativity bias, and indeed very biased in general. Like it's indeed a subsection of people. I can tell you something, but I think one of the biggest misconceptions for lay individuals on social media is that the comment section is like an accurate democratic representation of the people that watch the video.
Yes, it's a representative sample.
Yeah.
It is not the least representative sample you could ever fucking choose. And by definition, it's a self-selected sample.
You can also see that, by the way, for people that are like, oh, why is this? Repost the same content, and you can often see in the comments, unless there's something really wrong with it that they point out or something, you can very often see that a completely different vibe or direction takes place. Like in YouTube comments, very often you also see that when there's a top comment or a joke, people just start kind of repeating that or kind of going with the flow. And if the first comments are different, then the whole comment thread will be different.
Yes. And ask yourself another question. How many people in the real world comment on videos as often as they watch them?
Mm-hmm.
Like almost every video, I watch a lot of YouTube, almost no fitness YouTube, but like I watch military YouTube and DCS, like game simulator YouTube. I don't even, this is ridiculous. I don't even play video games, but I watch Digital Combat Simulator. So there's a guy I watch, the channel's called Growling Sidewinder. And he's very, very good at playing DCS video games of combat aircrafts. I've never even looked at the comments section, but I'm telling you, I'm an hour 50 of consuming his content at this point. Like I've given that man a lot of my money, which is awesome because it's awesome videos. How many other people are just not in the comments? And the answer is, Ramo, almost everyone is not in the comments.
Yep.
And so, like, can you imagine McDonald's really architecting their menu, not on how many burgers they sell, but on like customer reviews of specific burgers? Like, there's just insane people. Like, have you guys ever messaged McDonald's Incorporated and tell them their Big Mac is wrong? Who does that? Or good? Good, it's like, nice, that's cool. It's not really useful data. A lot of times we want what's wrong so we can improve it. But like, again, this is quoting Brian Kaplan, paraphrasing, like there's always going to be people that don't like stuff and they're not well in their time in their life or right now as they're exhibiting it. And there's probably nothing you can do to help them. And, like sometimes people are just trolling and they're 15. Like, you're going to change your whole channel because the trolls got to you? Like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. Watch time is really the thing. Watch time plus you're getting a lot of numerical views, plus the video is very upvoted, that starts to paint a good picture. And then the comments are kind of like, again, for qualitative analysis, not directional analysis. Like someone could give you really good feedback on a particular mic setup. And he's like, have you ever tried the other DJI mic, the blah, blah, blah? And you're like, oh, that's actually a good point. So there's value in comments, but the comments are not a representation of like a voting pool of people. That ain't it.
Going back to best ways to figure out what works for you. The main pitfall, we've been talking about the way to basically just see what works best, whether it's by watch time or money, whatever for your business works. The problem with that is that you can easily be rewarded for the wrong things. And part of that is people going by views, and even watch time can be a trap if the watch time does not align with your product, or if you're selling a product or your values. Yeah, so for me, for example, so I was a digital nomad for a long time. I've lived in over 50 countries, and I could make an absolutely killer Instagram feed easily. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people ask me, why don't you? Because it would probably get more views than my fitness content. And the reason is, why would I do that? What do I gain from that? Like, there are tons of nomads and influencers and stuff doing that, and it won't gain me anything. Like, ultimately, my fitness channel is a business. So me posting all of that other content is just going to detract from the business, make people think Menno is known as a nomad. And people like to picture an individual as one thing, which is also a problem with our second channels that we see. People like to pigeonhole you as one thing. And that can actually backfire.
For one channel, you mean?
Yeah, for one channel. Yeah, even different channels. What we're doing is probably business-wise maybe not optimal.
It has degrees of optimality you can explain. What I would say is, for sure, for one channel, people want to dependably come to your channel to get dependable something. Like, I go to my channels, like I follow a channel called like Swerve Gaming, and they do like a lot of really high-end gaming, like, so you can watch it and it's really pretty colors. If all of a sudden it's like the guy's face and he's talking about like what his dog had for breakfast, I'm gonna be like, that's cool that he has like a dog and he's a nice guy. But like, if he keeps doing that and then goes back to gaming and keeps doing that, I'll just be like, I just didn't want this from this channel, and I'll be out. Does that mean there's a better opportunity for him to become a real organic person and mix it up? Maybe. But like you said, sometimes it's not the thing that ends up working out in the end. And especially for you, Menno, I have another idea as to why you shouldn't do the travel influencer thing. Your personality is not such that you organically want to share tons of experiences that you really consider quite surface level.
We'll get to that in a moment. That's my
bad.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. So for women, I think what's not talked about much, because it's very politically incorrect, but even if you're going by, like, you're running a business and you're going by revenue, not even watch time, but literally like conversions to revenue, even that is not the final answer, because money is not the final answer ultimately. Because almost all attractive women, unfortunately, in the current reality we live in, would probably make more money on OnlyFans or doing porn then in almost any business, unless your business is wildly successful. But even if it's going to be, then you probably also have the tools to make an OnlyFans business wildly successful. But is that going to make you fulfilled and happy? Well, for some, maybe. But for most people, probably not. So that is a big trap. And that's true for also what you post on social media. Like I know a lot of fitness chicks in particular that have 100K plus subscribers, and they get way more views than I do. It's because of the type of content that they're posting. And 70% of their audience is male, and they are selling female physique products or something, right?
Makeup.
Right. So then you have a big discrepancy between the business model and the content. So likes, views, watch time, and everything, it has to align with your purpose and your mission. And then even more importantly, if you were to do something like OnlyFans or whatever, you have to think of longevity and fulfillment. And that comes to the second way to figure out what works best for you. It's not to see what works best, but what you like to do. Intrinsic motivation, because ultimately one of the biggest differentiating factors for successful and non-successful influencers or people on YouTube, content creators, whatever, is volume and time. If you do something for a long period of time, you keep doing it consistently, you put your best effort into it, you're almost certainly going to be successful.
A lot of it for a long time.
Yes. And that's true for almost everyone. Even when people say, oh, they went viral. It's like you went super viral after years of putting out high quality, consistent content. So there was no, yes, it's luck maybe in a way, but it's putting the odds massively in your favor by what you've done for decades before that. So that's a huge point. And you'll find that when you do things that intrinsically motivate you, there are three things that intrinsically motivate people. Autonomy, doing what you want yourself. Relatedness, doing something that you relate to and that matches with your identity and your personality. And competence. That's also what you already alluded to earlier. And this is why you'll find that those things start converging.
What works best, you're good at it.
Exactly.
At least you perceive yourself.
No,
I'm quite good at this.
Yeah, there are not a lot of people that play the guitar, even though they're absolute shit at it. And it's just like, I just love it. I know everybody hates my music, but I just love it. I could play the violin and everybody loved it, but I really just love the guitar, right? That's not really how human motivation works. So we like doing things that we're good at. And as we get better at them, we also like them more. And people like things that you're good at because you provide more value to people. So you'll find this convergence when you go this route, starting with what can I do and what do I like to do, because that's sustainable. And you'll find that that automatically starts converging towards what actually works best. And I think that's basically how you want to look at it. And for most people, the fundamental first decision is like, what do you like to do? What are you going to be able to do for the next decades?
Mm-hmm. Can I throw on another one really quick, just while we're spitballing? People like value. They like to learn things. They like to understand. They like to be able to do things themselves. The constrained mindset of, I'm not trying to give away all my secrets, is backwards. You want the channel that gives away all the secrets.
I also thought that at first.
Yes, of course. Everyone does, right? Like, what's the point of having me coach you if you could just watch all my videos and coach yourself? It was a very radical misunderstanding of the proposition of a coach. One of them is like, who's going to tell me I'm an idiot and get back on track? Well, I can't put on Menno's YouTube video and he doesn't talk to me. He talks to everyone. The other thing is like, for all of the stuff that you talk about on social media, you have such a deep understanding of it that I know for a fact there's a deep well that you can't possibly even speak to in all your videos of core understanding. And that core understanding allows you to be adaptable to novel situations. So if I got 500 of your videos together on everything you think about fat loss and muscle gain, but I'm a person in my specific situation and not one of those videos really speaks to me, I know Menno knows the whole space because he made all these 500 videos. I know if I get a chance to talk to Menno, he'll for sure be able to help me out. And so you're actually just advertising for yourself in the most massive way possible. It's like, if you're a bodybuilder and you're doing like private shows, like, for gay dudes or whatever, you pose right there. Like, is it best that you save all of your posing and not post on social media and be like, well, like, I'm a bodybuilder, a faceless account, but if you guys want the best posing and I'm super hot and super jacked, you'll have to just contact me. No, you put out all the posing you can. And some number of hundreds and hundreds of rich gay dudes will be like, yeah, for $2,000 an hour, can you come pose in front of me and my friends? And you'll be like, are you serious? You could just watch my videos. Like, oh, trust me, we've already watched all of your videos. We want you in real life. So the idea that you're going to like be gatekeepy and not give away all the knowledge, give away all of the knowledge and then more and then more and then more. And you do it for free and you do it forever. It's the best advertising mechanism. It's the best mechanism of telling people you actually know things.
And people judge you for the free content. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because even if like for a long time I was like my base content was way better than my free content.
Yeah, it's like they don't know. How the fuck are they supposed to know?
They think the level is going to be the same because that's what they're used to from your free content.
Yes. What you can do is make your paid content more intimate, which is actually impossible to do with free content because you can't have a one-to-one connection over the medium. Well, yeah, put out as much content as you can that is high value or high quality. Don't save anything. Don't spare anything. Well, I don't want to get into the details. You have to buy my ebook. What we found at RP is the more free content you give people, just the more they want to pay for what the fuck else is going on. I've had people subscribe to the channel and say like, I gave you a sub, man, because like, this is just unbelievable. You're giving us all away for free. There's some of the comments that used to baffle me earlier on the channel were like, I can't believe this information is being given away for free. And I was like, people like try not to give away their information. They're like, dude, no one talks about this stuff. I'm like, all right.
There's a super funny quote from a famous Dutch public speaker. When somebody asked him at some point, what do you do? He said, well, at one point I wrote a book and in that book, I put everything I knew. And then the rest of my life I spent going around the world telling people what's in the book. Yeah. For sure. You literally, that's also on when we do podcasts and stuff. Most of the time they ask you about the things that you've already published on because they know exactly what they're going to get. So you also get more podcast invitations and everything. I thought, people want you on a podcast because they want new information. No, they don't. They want you to say the things that you said before in your videos and that they know that you're going to say, and they want you to say it on their podcast.
Yes, but you can do like kind of a combination, like 99% of the things people want, but 1% of some new quirky shit you haven't talked about yet, or a slightly different way of describing the other stuff that you've talked about. And all of a sudden people are like, man, like this is dope. And when they want to learn a good subject, they'll look at all of your podcasts on a certain subject. Like, again, so my favorite economist, Brian Kaplan, has got a book called The Case Against Education. It sounds much worse than it is, fellas. He loves education. It just has limits, etc. And like, I've heard like probably 5 or 6 different podcast interviews of him on it. And everyone is a little different. And it's fun and engaging. It's not a script because you can only watch one video over so many times. And you're like, I got it. But you get 5 or 6 videos of roughly the same thing with a little bit of nuance, a little bit of difference. And all of a sudden, it's a great, fun way of really deeply learning the topic that you want. So if you've heard me blab about hypertrophy on 8 different podcasts, you probably know a lot about hypertrophy at this point. And so when people, are trying to gatekeep, here's another one. Oh my God, Menno. Oh my God. I have to say this. Any opportunity for collabs, short of really weird stuff like the person's toxic and evil and makes, fake products or something, take it. Collabs are amazing. Collabs, when you appear on someone else's channel, like I'm doing now and you're doing now, are an opportunity for people to exchange some fraction of their audience. And that means like it comes with a huge, giant green stamp endorsement. When you come on the RP Strength channel, people are like, well, if Mike trusts this guy, it must be pretty cool. Some people will like what you're saying, like your vibe. They'll go subscribe to your channel. And why the hell am I on your channel? Because who the hell knows is going to search for my shit, but they might find me on yours, and you have like 100K on your fitness channel. How many of those people do I ideally want subscribed to RP Strength? All. How many of them are currently? Not all. So does it benefit me to go on your channel? Yes. And also, if people see you, there's something I coined. I want credit for this. God damn it. I don't care. I know it's already called something. I don't care. The Huberman effect. I coined it.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what you're going to say, but I think I do.
Okay.
It's when you start appearing like on the podcast rounds and everything. Yeah, you see it very often.
Just everywhere. There was like a point in 2023 where I swear to God, I saw Huberman on like every single podcast that I'd ever been. And people just end up learning who you are. And then you met massive following if they like what you have to say. And Huberman is good at his shit and people loved it. And I was just following. So when I first started getting a little bit more popular, I get invitations on podcasts and all this stuff. We took every single invite that came our way, except now we're so big that you literally do not have enough time. But if I had extra time, I would go on every single person's podcast. You couldn't open fucking YouTube Fitness without getting my goddamn face. And people will say like, but don't people get annoyed of you? But the people who get annoyed of you, they got annoyed of you anyway. And so at some point, they just like click off your face, and before commenting hateful things, of course. But there's a certain number of people, here's a good way to see it in this world. And this is actually very, intellectually, something you can think about that makes a lot of sense. There are some like 7, 8, 9, whatever the fuck now, billion people in the world. And if you deeply one-to-one had hour-long interactions with each one of them, some fraction of them would be like, I want more of this. I'm subscribing to your channel. Some fraction are like, catch me in a good day, catch me in a bad day. And some fraction are like, I would pay good money to never fucking hear from you again or see you in my feed. The thing is that third category of people who don't like you is in a quite literal sense irrelevant, because it's like wheat from the chaff. Like, you're like, oh, okay, store them that way. And they go and find people they like. No offense. The people that maybe like you, maybe don't, you just do your best, but you can't appeal to them if they've never heard of you. And the people that like you, that potentially can like you, is something that is orders of magnitude bigger than who likes you now, no matter how big you are. Mr. Beast, okay, a lot of people have seen Mr. Beast, but my parents haven't seen Mr. Beast. They watch dog shit TV all the time. Maybe if they saw Mr. Beast, they would be like, oh shit, here we go. So if you have a chance to collab, you experience an opportunity to be in front of more people all the time, and then more people get that question, the three sorting question. Do you love him, meh, or hate? And then all you do is extract the love, and then your following just goes up and up and up and up and up. The number one reason you do not have as many followers as you want right now, the number one reason is that most people have never heard of you.
I think that's a big general mistake that people have, that they want to please everyone. You see it in evidence-based content a lot, where people are like, how do I convince these people that don't appreciate science? It's like, you don't.
Do you know how many like ontological steps you'd have to take back to take steps forward? Like, do you believe we can reason as humans about the nature of the world? Like, nope. Like, oh shit. Well, I'm trying to give you reasons. They're like, yep. They're like, you know what? Not gonna happen. Yeah. And also some degree of, as the British say, controversy, was like quite decent. If you're a little bit polarizing, like people get it going. Not everyone has to be like a love all. Like, I try to have like positive vibes more, because it's really honestly who I am. And so like every time I try to be all negative and iconoclastic, I can do it. It's all funny or whatever, but I just feel like shit after. So I'm all trying to be like more lovey. That's not for everyone. You can be a person that like speaks truth to power. Like, dude, you get me talking about Liver King or Dr. Oz, your boy gets to draw that sword out real quick. And like, am I really losing some Dr. Oz sympathizers by calling him a cunt and a liar? Yes. Am I gaining dozens of other sympathizers that already knew he was a cunt and a liar? Like, this guy's finally saying it the way I want, and he's a fucking professor of this shit. Damn it. Hell yes. And they subscribe. Getting out there, sharing yourself with the world is humongous, which is a two-factor problem. Factor one, collab as much as you can. Factor two, until you're making content that has degraded severely in quality, you don't even know what you're making anymore, make as much content as you can. But it's a very big, important qualifier. Like, Menno, you train in kickboxing. Am I allowed to talk about that? You train in Muay Thai. And like,
kickboxing, not Muay Thai.
Kickboxing, right? So in kickboxing, the more you practice, the better you get. But if you're throwing like sidekicks that don't look like sidekicks anymore because you're so fatigued that you're delirious and you're doing it wrong, you're actually practicing wrong. So the answer of how much do I train in kickboxing to get as good as I can if I have just carte blanche free time is as much high quality training as you can stuff in. Same for content. If you can make 3 videos a week that are really good and you're like, I'm proud of these fucking videos, do it. If it's 1, do it. If it's 5, do it. If you can make 3 videos that are great, but you're making 5 and 2 videos on average every week, someone's like, oh, I saw your video. Like, would you recommend that I watch it? You're like, that video sucked. Don't put out shit because you're representing. Like, do you really want to like put out crap to people? No, of course not. And at the same time, there are lots of YouTube channels that put out 1 video a week on their channel and they crush. Jeff Nippert puts out a video roughly every 2 weeks, it seems like, sometimes roughly every 2 months. And Jeff Nippert crushes because all his videos are incredibly genuine, incredibly awesome production value, tons of learning opportunities, a whole goddamn thing. And so whatever your swag is, like, put out as much high quality content. But here's the thing. If you know you can put out 2 videos a week that fuck indefinitely, but you're somehow putting out 1 because you're like, I don't want to oversaturate. Scott and I had this idea. Scott's a video guy and I had an idea early because I can fucking talk, right? I make a ton of videos. So I was like, we watched like Greg Doucette make like 2 videos a day. And I was like, dude, I can do that. And he's like, okay, that's a lot. But we were making like 2 videos a week. And we went to 3 and we just instantly like way more views. And we were talking about 5. And Scott's like, I honestly think 5 might be like oversaturation. Why did Scott say that? I'll tell you why. I don't like to hear the sound of my own voice 5 times a fucking week. Scott is into fitness, but he sure shit does not like to hear the sound of my voice 5 times a week, especially about nerd bullshit fitness. He could care less. And we just both realized we're actually not on the consumption side of YouTube fitness. And so our heuristic understanding of like how much videos,
it's not going to be the same person.
Same person, yeah.
That's another big mistake that people have where they feel like, I have an audience. It's like they're in a theater room, and this is your audience size.
It's just track.
Everything you put out is that speaking to those people. But it's like 90% of people are different every time.
Yes. So like I follow an AI influencer named Wes Roth. He just like AI news, really great guy. And I don't know him personally, but he seems great. And like I'll watch probably a third of his videos. Why? Because I'm too busy. And some of the stuff, like I'm just not interested in that specific AI thing. Like he'll be like, oh, you know, like this new thing with coding and AI. And I'm like, I like the theory of it, but I don't code and I just send it to my engineers, but I don't watch it. Does that mean like if he makes another couple of coding videos for AI, I'm unsubscribing? This isn't the content I signed up for. Again, the people that say this isn't the content I signed up for are 9 times out of 10 legitimately means compassionate. They're mentally ill. Like they're dealing with real serious fucking problems. You don't have to worry about those people. You put out your good stuff and a lot of people are going to come and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Some people eat the chicken, some don't. Some people watch 3 videos a week. Some watch all 5. Some watch 1 every now and again. And they're all value added. But if you have to degrade the quality to put out more, don't do that. If you're staying away from putting out too many videos because you'll oversaturate, there's nothing to oversaturate. The world is 8 fucking billion people. You're going to put it out there. Also, videos live forever. YouTube is very good because like TikTok, Instagram, the shit applies differently.
TikTok is doing it now.
Oh, the recycled.
Instagram is basically your post is dead after 2 days.
Dead after
TikTok is resurfacing old videos basically by adopting the YouTube algorithm, whereby recency is no longer the primary determinant as whether people get served your video.
Yes, and recency is understandable in a newsfeed model, makes sense. But the honest take here is that if you have good videos and good content and you put a lot out of them, after you blow up, people discover that they want to binge watch your shit. If you come to RP Strength in 2025, when you have somewhere between 3 and 4 million subscribers, and you decide like, oh my God, I love this. I wonder if there are more videos by Dr. Mike. You will never catch up because we've been making 5 videos a week for years now. All you're going to be doing is watching videos. And some people do that. And your back views do. It's fine for me to admit this, but it's not like proprietary, it's not secret. As far as money and watch time, our YouTube, I think our back views to views of videos that week versus all the videos that we made before is like either like somewhere between 7 to 1 and 9 to 1 ratio for us. It's almost all back views.
Right.
So almost all back views.
More than 80% not recent videos views.
Correct.
Right.
They're just slowly accumulating.
This people are also going to be very interested in it, and you wouldn't otherwise share it. How much money does your size YouTube channel generate from just ad revenue? If you're comfortable sharing that.
Yeah. We are doing roughly, because the shorts really fucked us because YouTube blocks in shorts with regular audio views.
Just a number, Mike.
Well, because I want to put the number in context.
I know it's a high number.
For sure, no, it's a high number, but I also want to like reference people like how many views we get. What I was going to say is like, here's how many views we get and here's how much money we make. So people can understand. The problem is like shorts don't make you hardly any money, but YouTube blocks them in as the same views. Yeah. So I would say like, I guess we're doing like monthly, we do like, maybe some really like, these figures are probably out of date, 20 and 30 million monthly views for long form videos. They can be much higher, but usually is roughly somewhere around there, or at least was. And making something like 150 to 200K per month on YouTube ad revenue, like AdSense. That doesn't include the sponsors or anything like that. And so like, it's, is that a lot for a channel like our size? I don't know, but like,
I think it's pretty good. I think one other channel I talked to, which is very similar fitness, I think it was actually very close to your figures. When they were at about 1 million subscribers and getting also very good views, they were at like 75K. So that's like half, basically same ratio you get. And if you're like a small channel like mine, it's like 1,000 or something, maybe a little bit more in ad revenue. And that's basically putting out 1 video per week and having like 100K subscribers. So that gives you kind of a ballpark where when you get to a certain level of growth, things become kind of exponential, and then it becomes like really serious. But that's also a good point, I think, for if you're doing YouTube or any social media to make money and you think you're going to make a lot of money on the views, that's not a great business model. You have to be super successful, and that might work if you're in a very mainstream niche, like not a niche basically. You're just making super mainstream content. But for most people, you really need at least like influencer stuff, sponsorships, or much better if you have an actual product or coaching or your own services that you can sell.
Yes.
That's that's by far the most guaranteed path to make a living.
For sure. At RP, we ran the YouTube pretty well from day one because we started it very recently, relatively speaking. What we did was as soon as we started making decent money off of YouTube, from the beginning, we cut Scott the video guy in to Scott. I'm not going to share the figure, but it's a lot. A huge fraction of the YouTube revenue versus what many people would ever pay a video person goes right to Scott's fucking bank account. I want Scott hopelessly, mindlessly addicted to money coming from YouTube. So he spends all of his waking hours and all of his dreams too thinking about how to make the channel better. And because Scott's that guy to begin with, that's exactly what he does. And Scott the video guy deserves like probably 90% of the credit for my entire YouTube career. Because like your YouTube channel, like that's not my YouTube channel. I barely know the fucking login. That's Scott the video guy's YouTube channel. So it's huge to pay your people well. Get your editing team, pay them fucking well, and incentivize them on monetization. Like however much the channel makes, you guys get XYZ% of that. They're gonna, if it's the right person, they're gonna start to just obsess, and that's what you want over how do I get this thing to grow. Now, if they don't obsess, maybe they're cool and useful, but you really want editing team and all that other team that really gives a shit about making big impacts. But all the other money we just throw into the overall RP marketing and budget because like we don't collect off YouTube because compared to the corporate profits from our app suite and all the other stuff we do, it's a drop in the bucket. Nowadays, it's a pretty big drop in the bucket, but still not much compared to everything else. So yeah, if you're into YouTube to make money, you can make some real good money off YouTube. But again, it's first principles. What actually makes you good money? Putting out fucking awesome content and plenty of it. And that will make you lots of money. Another thing is money.
People that buy your products is most of the money.
Oh, for sure. But even if you just want to make from the YouTube videos themselves, from the views, there's no way to do it other than like make good videos. And then watch time monetizes way better than views.
That's literally what you get paid for essentially.
Because how many ads can we render? And so like you want people to clue in. There's people that make tons of reels and TikTok videos that make very little money from social media because millions of people watch their shit, but they watch it for 5 seconds at a time. You ain't making any money from that. Dude, my social media, my Instagram, I'll be completely upfront with this. We put reels out and shit like that. And like I just broke 1 million followers, right? Like Meta sends me a payment to my PayPal account every month from Meta Inc. for my like Instagram royalties that I make from reels watching. And I think it's something like $50 to $100 a month. I have 1 million fucking users. You're serious? I have good engagement and everything. It just ain't it. But there's long form content. But you make long form content that's valuable, educational, people share with their friends. You're going to get crazy views and crazy watch times. And then you're going to make some decent goddamn money.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good final tip as well. To separate between watch time and having like a actually successful channel that can make you a living. Shorts, reels, shorts content, funny clips, humor, cat videos. It's not going to get you a lot of views. It might get you a lot of subscribers, which is good, popular.
But then they won't monetize unless they're watching.
Exactly. But you can make way more money off like putting out 2-hour-long YouTube videos and having 50 people hopelessly invested in that and thinking you make the greatest content ever. And having 50 people that pay you, I don't know, $1,000 a month, that's $50,000 a month, right? For your services. That's great. But there are a lot of people who have 1 million subscribers because they make funny dance videos or they post cats videos or they have a humorous account and it's all shorts and like super like single photos. And people don't pay you for that because you're not providing real value that meaningfully changes their lives.
That's it. So provide real value is probably the most important thing we could say.
Yep.